See if I have crust in my eyes.
The eye boogers out.
Keeping it real.
Yep.
I've been
I
quarantining.
think we might actually be live now, so.
Nice. I've been quarantining with a hairstylist, which has been fantastic.
Oh,
So
that's good.
kidding. That is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What's up, everybody in the Zoom call, the certified trainers? What's up? Brian's outside. Wow. Yes.
Yes.
Amazing.
Beautiful out.
Very cool.
What's up, everyone?
Yeah, what's up, Facebook? What's up, YouTube? What's up, folks? If you guys in the Zoom, did you guys get the graphic to share? If not, I can just share it real quick from my Dropbox if you want to put it on your YouTube. I mean, on your Instagrams or Facebook.
Yeah, let's
get some people watching this. So yeah, I just chatted you guys the graphic. Yeah. And let me get the doing all the fun things where we get the URLs. So this first one is the Facebook URL, and that's just for, you know, friends. And then the YouTube one is the ACT 42520. Boom. Okay. So I think we should be pretty good. Yeah, I'll just give you guys a sec to maybe share if you want. I'm gonna pull up the spreadsheets. Did anyone fill out the spreadsheet? Probably not. I think
I'm in the process of doing it.
Oh!
Just like in school. You know, like hand in your homework. I'm like, oh, hold on.
Oh yeah.
Let me find it real quick.
Except for like I didn't fill it out either. So that's funny.
If we've joined before, do we need to fill that out again?
Well, it's like every week we fill it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is good knowledge. I'll go fill
Yeah,
that out.
it's all in the information that I have emailed out, and then it's in the calendar as well. Where if there's something specific that you guys want to talk about or you think that we should cover, it goes in the group contact form. So I'm just gonna drop the link for the sheet here, and then I'm just gonna put in bold letters, fill this out for each session. Yeah. So then we know what we're gonna talk about. Then we're not just like, hey guys, what's up? Except for like that anyway. Yeah. So has anyone been doing any crazy stuff this week that they want to share about?
I got attacked by a goose. I don't know if that's relevant to this topic, but
What?
that was terrible.
Gooses make noise.
Man, they're terrifying creatures.
Geese?
There's an infestation outside my apartment complex right now, so I know we're all supposed to go for walks and stay healthy.
Right.
I can't even go outside because there's so many geese.
What?
Do they have baseball bats? They're looking at you through the window.
No, they're giant footballs with feathers that they bite you. They're crazy.
I have thouts about that, but we're on a live stream, so I'm not. I know this animal lover, so.
I mean, I love animals too. I just don't want to get attacked by a goose.
In self-defense, I have certain thoughts on geese.
I've been playing with Crowdcast. Back to what Laura was saying.
Oh yeah, actually, I wanted to ask you about that. Why are you quitting Crowdcast?
Actually, I'm not quitting I quit and I looked into Zoom's webinar platform, and I was like, this is actually more expensive and I could still do everything I'd want to do in Crowdcast. Especially for more like user group meetups, because Ableton has graciously asked a lot of certified trainers to do more webinars and events. So Crowdcast for me just makes sense for that type of webinar style meetings and events.
Got it.
And I figured out a way, because you can create multiple sessions for the same event. So theoretically, you could have really as many presenters as you want at the same time doing RTMP with OBS and have high quality audio and video at the same time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I saw your email. It was like, farewell, friends. I'm leaving Crowdcast or whatever. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought you just did this whole like presentation on like high quality audio on Crowdcast.
I did. Yeah. It was good. And then I was like, maybe I could save money with Zoom, because everybody and their mom is going to Zoom right now. And I'm like, that's cool. So I was looking into that and I was like, I don't know. Crowdcast for me for webinars just made more sense at this point in time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it's a little more fun.
That's cool.
I think that's the hard thing, is like fighting features and price and like trying to factor in all these things all the time. Because you pick one thing and then you have everything going on there, and you see something else. You're like, oh, maybe that'll work. But then you've got to migrate people over there, and you got to deal with the issues that company now has and their pricing. So.
Well, one question I had, and I wasn't able to really find an answer, and I contacted support. I'm waiting to hear back. But with Zoom, can you customize emails reminding people your event is going to happen like a day before? Or like even hours before the event starts? Do you have that control? Because that was my question. Because with Crowdcast, you can customize all that and create a landing page for all of your events too. And it's all browser based, so you don't need to download anything. That was an attractive thing for me.
That's pretty cool.
I think you can with the webinar. I upgraded to the webinar, and then I just was thinking the other day, like, I'm paying for this thing and I'm not even using like all of the functionality of it. So
Right. Yeah. Same.
Yeah. But
I just ended up using Eventbrite.
Yeah, I mean,
this,
I think that's like another conversation, like, because with my team, we've been like using different like email service platforms, and like certain ones aren't good at like the drip stuff where it like reminds you and like does it now or before or whatever. And so we're actually like looking for like the perfect, platform. And I'm moving to Kajabi for my transmute program. I was on Teachable, and I believe that Kajabi does the drip email campaigns and is kind of a little bit more robust. We've been on ConvertKit, so it's been kind of a journey, because it was like MailChimp, and then MailChimp wouldn't do enough, and then we moved to another platform, and then ConvertKit. I can't remember, what was it? Yeah, just a bunch of different platforms. So yeah. The email game. I'm curious what Brian Funk uses for his email game, because you've been on that email game.
This is true.
OG.
An email game?
Yeah, like who's your email provider?
Gumroad.
Oh.
I use Gumroad. They have like updates in there, and that's been a big part of why I love Gumroad.
Huh.
Because the email updates, although you don't get a ton of customization, you can send out emails for free. And over the years, I've gotten so many emails through free live pack downloads that I wouldn't be able to send out emails any other way. It would just be too much money.
Yeah.
So Gumroad is another reason why I love it, is the email service.
Yeah. That's cool. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm putting a link to a service that I've seen, but I never use it. It's called Calendly.com.
Oh yeah.
But I never use it, so I don't know. I know it integrates with Zoom and the calendar, but I never use it.
I use Acuity. which is like Calendly, but I've been thinking about moving to Calendly. What do you guys use for your, like when you have people set up sessions with you? Do you just do it manually or?
I use a Pointlet. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's free.
Oh.
Yeah. I searched deep on the interweb like a month ago, all these different services, and tried to figure out like what was free and easy.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty happy with it. It's super basic.
Yeah.
But it does the job for me. I'll send it in the chat right now.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think Calendly is pretty robust, and I use Acuity, so I think those will definitely like send reminders like right before you have a meeting scheduled with someone. I believe the Zoom webinar does it too. Like, I mean, I think for an extra whatever $40 a month, it should probably do that.
Hey Dan, I got a question about Crowdcast. You said you're doing presentations like webinars with 2 or more presenters, is that right? And how is the actual latency? They're streaming RTMP?
Yep. So we clocked it a couple days ago. From the time that the stream like started to the time that people actually hear like real time what's happening was 27 seconds, which is way longer than I'd really want. But for me, the whole point is you have a presenter and then like an attendee audience kind of format. It's not like this where you have like 12 people sharing screens, right?
I got it, but I mean between yourselves, between the presenters.
Oh yeah. Oh, between like us talking to each other as presenters?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty much instant, because what we're doing is we're taking Zoom and then we're showing Zoom's screen and then piping Zoom's audio as well into OBS. And then we're running that into Crowdcast, and then you can create multiple RTMP inputs. So we all have our own RTMP server in StreamKey, which is nice. So we don't have to share that. And then we just
yeah, I've been looking into that, running an RTMP server on Mac. What are you using? Is it like from the Crowdcast app?
Yeah, so Crowdcast, when you log in, you can, when you jump into the event, it has like a green room type of thing. So then you just like set up your camera and your RTMP in there, and then you can choose stream live whenever you're ready to go with you and the other people that are presenting.
Yeah, so it's all web-based, web apps.
Yeah, it's all browser-based. You don't have to download anything, except for obviously like OBS. That's obviously software on your desktop, but yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. I'm actually looking for something a bit more robust, because I'm doing like a big live streaming festival, and I'm gonna have like streams coming to me, and I want to be able to switch between them and do some basic editings and add overlay and stuff.
That could work.
So I'm looking into options for Mac, and I'm trying here. It's mini RTMP server from Garmin. And I don't know, but maybe Crowdcast can handle that kind of job. I'm not sure. I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah. What was that you mentioned? The mini RTMP server?
RTMP server, yeah, from Garmin. I'm going to put a link down here.
Yeah, I'm going to check that out. That's cool. Yeah, it might
even run an RTMP server from like a Raspberry Pi. So you can have a designated box set up for it and just run a little server on its own, and it doesn't take up much processing power.
Yeah, that sounds cool. But yeah, I don't know. I think I might want to have some more control, at least have to develop less for this moment, you know, get like a tool that is a bit more ready to handle like a solid stream, not have any hiccups. I don't know. I'm kind of worried if it's gonna fail on me. So I'm looking into Woza. I know they have some pretty robust service from servers and CDNs for delivery. So I'm trying to go for something that can scale up if you have like over 1 million people. Like you might need some good CDNs and some good server running a transcoder. So if you guys know anything about that, please let me know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm making that move too. I mean, I'm just doing a bigger masterclass on Zoom, so I'm going to use the webinar feature instead of like this feature right here. But in terms of like doing a festival thing like that, I don't know. Okay, cool. There's some good links here. Katie was saying.
Yeah, Nginx, right? Yeah, I was looking to that. It seems pretty good.
Private RTMP server. That's cool.
This looks awesome. I'm gonna check this out.
There's one other that I've heard a lot about. It's OS SRS. Let me look for a link.
Cool.
And they say it's like high efficiency, stable, and simple. So I don't know. Gonna look more into it.
This is going deep now. And we're like a month ago, we were like, yeah, you know, Zoom and RTMP. And now it's like, let's have our own server and like Jamulus and all the things. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, now Jamulus has its own group. Right, Roy?
Wait, Jamulus has what?
Well, the jamming, real-time jamming has its own Facebook group now.
Oh, right. I know.
So if you guys are interested in exploring on that, please hop in.
Right.
Yesterday I was trying to log in, and it was really noisy. I guess like the internet. I don't know if it was my side, but the ping was very high on all servers. It was really noisy. I couldn't go in any room, any server in the night, which is something I feel a lot now in Germany. That like from 7 p.m. it's starting to get very bad with the internet. The last 2 weeks. So I guess it was something like that. I couldn't get really any decent flow sound yesterday, which is okay. I just made a live on Instagram for an hour. Then I was just jamming with myself.
Nice.
That's awesome.
It's cool.
I do have a quick question, if that's cool. So has anybody tried to do any kind of live streaming for like a show, say for a band or for themselves, in a remote area, like not at home, like out in the woods, like well socially distanced from people or something like that? I don't know if anybody's tried to do something of that nature, but that's kind of my next project.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen people doing that, but it's like next to someone's house, you know.
Okay.
But it, like they're still socially distanced, but it's like a beautiful location or whatever because there's Wi-Fi there.
Right.
I tried yesterday to. I'm trying now like to get everything with with phones because I'm really trying to get cameras and stuff, and it's all taking really a long time in Amazon. So I'm like I have a few phones that I connected and try to stream through them, but there is something going on with the filming, and it's really slow, and it goes fast and slow. It's not syncing, which is shit. So
you think it was just like not enough signal in that certain spot that you're at, trying to hotspot or something?
No, I really had really good internet, but there's something about the phone. It's like there are a few apps who lets you stream in HD. One of them called.
Did you try the Recco Studio Multicam app?
No.
For iOS?
Can you write it in the chat?
Yeah.
That would be nice. Thanks, man. It was one I was trying, which was really cool because it can be like a virtual camera in your computer, and you can choose it. Which called
this one runs only on iOS. So if you have multiple iOS devices, you can have multicam with like iPhone and iPads. And then from the main iPad you can stream. I think so. If you are on a remote location but with 3G or 4G connection, you should be able to like do a live stream, also with multicam.
Yeah.
Are you guys actually using it, using iPhones in this way?
I did it yesterday. Yeah, I did it yesterday with. I made like a video using machine, the software and the hardware at the same time. And I did it in OBS. This is something I do a lot now, like dividing the screen with two locations. And then I wanted to record the. I was like recording everything to do it like to have it first as live, but then to put it on the Instagram. It's called TV, I think. You can put like 1 hour, which is quite good. But then I saw that it's not really syncing. I was trying to like have the soundtrack and put it nicely together with the picture, but it's going out of sync constantly, which is something which never happened to me with the like normal cameras.
And what about the video feed? Was it like smooth? Did it have like a nice FPS?
Okay. Yeah, it was okay. It was better than the webcam. They have a lot better.
I'm sorry if you already said this, but you're not using a GoPro, are you?
I told you that I'm trying, yeah, and I really want to, but I cannot get
But it's
the
glitchy.
that I want, like the capture, the HD capture thing, HDMI capture, because you cannot just plug it into your computer. So I cannot use it.
I know for some of my cameras that I've used, if auto stabilization is on, that can really mess that whole process up.
Yeah.
Okay, I can try. I will try to see if the app has it, but I don't think so. Because I did like a few times in my life recording like a live performance with a phone and the audio to a Zoom H5, if you know it, and then trying to like do mastering on the sound and then put them both together, and it's always out of sync, always. I don't know why. It's like starting and then it's like cutting. It has like some kind of a jump, and then it goes a bit slower, and then faster and slower. And, yeah, and it was with few phones. It was with like iPhone 6s and then 11. It's something to do with how the filming is going.
Is this through USB or HDMI out of the camera, out of the iPhone?
USB.
So,
but I also have like Wi-Fi, which is nice if you're outside. But again, if you want to like recording, then have to work on it later and make it sound good. You're gonna have to have both files working with each other. If it's jumping, it's like really a mess. Try to move it every 10 seconds or so. It's not really fun. But you learn, you know.
Yeah.
Try.
I got one more question for the iPhone using as webcam. If you use a cable, you don't actually need any other software, right? You can show up in macOS.
It just goes QuickTime or whatever.
Yeah.
But then it shows all the desktop of your iPhone
on screen, everything, all the overlays,
all your apps and stuff. And the apps, the one that I'm using is just using it with camera.
Yeah, with Epoch Cam, you use it like a webcam. So just with the USB cable.
Yeah, I don't have an iPhone, but I was trying to help out Christian on Red. He was trying to install that on his computer and use Ecamm. And then I think Ecamm just recognized the iPhone without any overlays, just by default. That was pretty cool. And he was having some problem actually when choosing the Epoch Cam one, and that was not giving a nice flowing stream. I don't know. It's probably something on his side, but
I think, for example, with the Wirecast, like it's like OBS, but you pay for it. The license costs a lot of Wirecast, but they also give you like a Wirecast Go app for the iPhone to use the iPhone as a webcam. So probably with Ecamm is the same.
Yeah, and for Androids, like I see something that works, but not really, like nothing that I really want to use because it's not fluid, it's like laggy and stuff. I've tried a couple of apps, but nothing that I could really rely on.
I'm sorry, I never tried with Android.
And well, one thing about OBS, I'm not using it, but I've tried some more these last days. And how is it? How intensive is it on your guys' CPU?
Heavily on mine.
Pretty heavy.
How intensive is what? Ecamm?
As
He was
compared
asking about
to
OBS.
other encoders, yeah, I did some testing. Like I was comparing just screen capturing. So I tried first with QuickTime, and then with OBS, with Ecamm. That was the first test, and from that I could gather that Ecamm is much more efficient than OBS. That's for sure. I had a lot more free CPU, and it was a bit quicker than QuickTime, but almost the same. And then I went to the second road where I got an NDI plugin from NewTek, and I did the capture for that. And that was the most efficient of all options. So it was like a huge, huge difference. And so I was thinking about Laura, that she wanted to stream, have like 2 different camera setups, one for YouTube, Facebook, another one from Instagram. I think a lot of people want to do that. So I thought we need to have 2 output streams. We need 2 feeds. And for that, we're gonna have to run 2 encoders, and that's gonna be pretty heavy on your CPU. So I'm looking for the least CPU intensive. The ones that are really light, so you can probably run 2. I haven't tried running 2 OBS instances on the same time, and the computer just couldn't handle it. But yeah, if you guys have any thoughts on that.
Where did everybody go?
Sorry?
I would suggest to use an external like capture device or encoding device. Probably that's the best way. Just go external with everything.
That's kind of what I've been thinking, is even go long term. This is like, as my computer gets older and all that, it's better to just have something external that handles it, and then you could just pipe everything into that and not have to worry about what you're running and it, sending a constant stream. So
yeah, basically, if you have something external just that accept an HDMI cable, even if you have an old Mac or PC, will run. So yeah, probably for the long run is the best option.
I mean, it has to be an external machine, because if you're running through your OS, you're still gonna have to get re-encoded. Doesn't matter if you capture it through Elgato, but it goes in your computer and go through OBS, and it's gonna get encoded one more time. And
No,
it might
there are some devices which like do the live stream like with the HDMI inputs and then go directly on live stream, so without re-encoding everything. I think
that's the one.
In a previous masterclass here, I put some links in the of products in the Google Doc. So if you have access to that, I put some devices there. I never tried it, but I received a newsletter from a store here, and I look at them, and there were supposedly all good devices for that. But yeah, I will pick something that with an HDMI input and then like an Ethernet cable to do the live stream directly, so without encoding and without having to run on the CPU. And also if you have like an Atom Mini or something like that, you can do all the mixing of the pictures and everything just outside, so the computer just has to like do the stream, the Ableton or something like that.
So the processing will be inside of it, right? Hey, Abid.
Abid.
Right from New Orleans. Hey, Abid.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hey, so we have a few questions from the Facebook group, but I just want to make sure that you guys are.
From New Orleans.
I'm not sure exactly where we're at commenting on things, so. are you guys ready to jump to some questions, or do you want to finish this train of thought?
Let's do it.
Okay, cool. Because I know Elliot, he's dying to know. He's dying to know because he's doing this beat cipher, right? And I actually played a beat on there last week. He's trying to upgrade the audio game, so he's gonna do audio movers, listen to. And so he says, audio movers with multiple audio streams to get several of us at one time. We had glitches and some delays the other day when testing. What are folks' thoughts and experiences? This is at 0.1 latency, lowest latency, and 3 of us with simultaneous audio mover screens attempted to play together in Zoom.
That's a problem. You cannot stress your computer to go to 0.1 and 320 if your processor is not strong enough and you have enough RAM, because this will be really intensive, and you really need a good computer for that. Otherwise, you're going to get these glitches. And if they're willing to go down from 320 to 128, that will help. And 0.2, that will help it as well.
Yeah. Okay. Elliot, does that help? Let us know. So a couple of other questions. Oh, Elliot also says, Brian, make sure you're wearing sunscreen. He's looking out for you, Brian. Elliot, let us know if that does not answer your question. Malvin was wondering, what is the iOS software that was just mentioned by Federico for multiple devices?
Yeah, we'll put the link on Facebook too.
Okay.
But it's like I don't remember the name now. Reco Studio Multicam, RECO Studio Multicam.
Cool. Yeah, and then Kevin had a comment. Latency, all wireless connections have higher latency. So yeah, Elliot, wondering if you guys are all wired or wireless there. Bunch of stuff about Ecamm, which we already talked about. Let's see.
With the in regards to the wired stuff, I did get that that anchor in, and so I've got the Ethernet now wired in.
Me too.
And I got mini SD or micro SD, and yeah, it's working very nice. HDMI, all that.
Nice. Into what platform?
So right now I'm just using this for Ethernet, so I can have, so it's not wireless, so it's not Wi-Fi, because there would be dropouts sometimes. So now I'm just going straight in. But I got it just to get all the other features too. So now I can lower my ports. So I was using all 4 ports on my Mac. Now I'm just using one, because HDMI goes in this, Ethernet. It's got 2 USB 3s, and then SD, mini and SD. So just in what they were talking about being wired. So
yeah. Has anyone ever had a USB-C hub that will do the pass-through? The power pass through for your.
Yeah, so I was
mine is passed through.
Mine always quits working. It like will drain the battery, and like it just, even the OWC one that was like $300 did that.
So let me chime in here real quick. So when the 2018 MacBooks first came out last year, there was a huge issue with USB creating audio dropouts for USB interfaces. And so I went down a deep rabbit hole on how to resolve that issue, and basically realized that the only dongles that are worth a damn are a Thunderbolt 3 dongle. And so they're at least $200 and up. And so for Mac, anyway, for MacBook Pro. So it's a Thunderbolt 3. I'll post the one that I have. The one that I have is about $160, but it doesn't have the pass-through power. They have a $200 version that does have pass-through power, and it's rated for 85 watts, which is what you need to have for the 2018 15-inch MacBook Pros. Those bigger bricks are 85 watts. So if you're going to get pass-through, you got to have something that can supply 85 watts of power. Now, if you have a 2019 or the 16-inch MacBook Pros that just came out, those are 95 or 96 watts. So just up to the federal limit of what you can fly on an airplane with due to explosions. Not that any of us are flying right now, but you know, if you're going to get a pass through, you need to make sure that you're supplying enough power to your computer. So I'm trying to answer Josh's question and Laura's question with this comment.
Yeah, but the OWC one is like $300 something.
Yeah, I looked at that.
Yeah.
That's way too overkill. Let me send a link on Facebook on the one that I use. It's really useful and it's worked really well, and it solved the audio dropout issue too, because with that Thunderbolt 3, you're creating a separate USB channel, so it works really well for those of you that have USB audio interfaces. It's also completely without any issues. I have one port in which I run my monitor, my external monitor, my audio card, you know, USB devices, push to, you name it, right? Keyboards, whatnot. So I'll send that to you guys in a second. Looking it up on Amazon.
So that's cool. Yeah, I know you've been you were going through that for a while trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
It's good you figured that out. Yeah, mine, I've had it 3 days so far, so I haven't run through every single situation. But yeah, it's been working. It does the pass through. It does it slower because I think it's doing it reserves 20 for the hubs and then 40 for charging. And I actually have this hub. I have a hub plugged into this hub. Some hub jumping. So it's supplying my pushes directly into it, but the hub that is plugged into that has my 2 Electron boxes, MIDI, I guess audio MIDI Electron boxes, MIDI sub 37, MIDI circuit mono station, and some other things plugged through USB into that. So far, so good.
Yeah, I'm having an issue when I live stream and have live open, my computer battery just starts draining, and like it's actually so much of a problem that I had to shut down my computer before my live stream the other night just to power it up quickly. And then the other week I was doing a live stream, it was like had drained all the way down to 6%, and I had to like stop the live stream because my computer was about to shut off. So, and when I go to the battery, it just says not charging, and it says using resources, Ableton Live, you know, is the top one. I'm using OBS as well, but I have the new 16-inch MacBook Pro, so I'm curious if you guys know.
So that's got to be the issue, Laura. That the 16-inch MacBook Pro has a higher power usage, and I don't know if any of the new pass-throughs have enough power.
I'm using pass-through.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
Yeah, I'm plugging it. Yeah, I haven't been able to find one that works, so I'm plugging it right in. Yeah.
And you're still losing battery, huh?
Yeah. It's really frustrating.
Yeah, well, when you're live streaming, I mean, both fans are going at 100%, and it's just churning through battery, you know? One of the things you could think about is, do you have an external monitor, or is the Mac on? Like, is the Mac open?
I'm using both because I'm using my bigger monitor for live, and then I'm using my smaller one for OBS.
Yeah.
For my
the reason I ask is because the screen, the MacBook Pro screen, is probably the highest usage other than the CPU of battery. And so one of the things you could do if you're trying to figure out, you know, a quick Band-Aid solution is turn the brightness down or turn it off and just use the external monitor. And then it won't be drawing power for that. So
yeah, I've turned on the brightness, but when it's still, even if it still says using significant resources, Ableton Live, like, you think that would still help? Or because I mean, my computer's basically telling me what the issue is when I go to the battery.
Oh, that it's live that's drawing the power down?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I'll definitely try like shutting my computer and just using, you know, the one screen and see if that works. But yeah.
It's just weird because, I mean, the power brick that Apple gives you should, when powered in, when you plugged in, shouldn't draw down the battery, right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
It's only when doing live streaming and, using live, really, which is annoying.
I put on our Zoom chat here
Yeah.
the product that I'm using for
Okay.
my dock. That's the Cable Matters, and then there's a version that they have powered. And let me try to find that. But again, I don't think that's going to help you because it's older than the
Right.
MacBook Pros. But let me just see if they have one.
Yeah, I did like an SMC reset and I did a bunch of all that stuff, but
Yeah.
not working. This is awesome looking though. Amazon for the win. At least Amazon.
When they deliver, yes, for the win.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Appreciate this, y'all. And then I actually was still like, I know a lot of you guys were we were going back and forth about my question, and especially Pedro. I wasn't able to stream to Instagram separately the other day, and it worked fine. It's great. It's just that I would like to be able to change my camera angle and just have people see the full camera angle change. And so the only way I can do that is if OBS has two separate scenes, like one for Instagram and one for Facebook, and you can't have that at the same time. So I experimented with screen sharing onto my second laptop and then pulling that into OBS, which was a little funky and didn't quite work. I also have the Cam Link, but that was not, I can't remember exactly why that wasn't working, but basically it's just copying the video signal from my first computer to the second, and so it's not allowing me to reconfigure the sizing. So Pedro, you had some ideas, but like we kept running into roadblocks here. Like, do you know?
Yeah, I think the first thing to keep in mind is if you're streaming the same signal you're streaming to YouTube, and you feed that into the RTMP ingest that Yellow Duck is giving you, pretty much you're sending the same stream to YouTube, that from YouTube to Instagram.
Yeah.
If you watch it on desktop, you're gonna see the whole thing. You're gonna see a widescreen feed, just like you see on YouTube. And that's kind of a new feature on Instagram. It's been going for a while, but most people don't know about it. So I think it's one way. If you got a smart TV, or if you're watching on a computer, just use it there. Don't try to watch on your phone. But Instagram is a mobile first product. So yeah, we still have to find a way. I watched your streaming, and for me it looked nice. It looked fine because most of the time you were in the center of the frame.
Yeah.
But of course, there was sometimes you play those scenes behind you, or like the continuous controller close to the computer, so we couldn't see it on the mobile. But yeah, it still looked nice. And besides that, all I can think of is running 2 streams and having one very light encoder to do the job for the second one, and just adapting the layout, just resizing and add some nice overlay from Instagram. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, because I was thinking, well, I could just run Ecamm as well, and then and just do through OBS go to Instagram via Yellow Duck, and then through Ecamm go to Facebook and YouTube. I don't know if Stream Deck would change both scenes at the same time, because I think whichever app has to be in the forefront, right?
I'm not sure. I think you might be able to control both Ecamm and OBS, and even like some other hardware, because I think this Elgato thing is it's pretty robust. The Stream Deck seems pretty robust, and you can even use an IP remote control. You can configure that. So you're just gonna send the controls to a remote server that's running whatever, and you can still switch it from there. So yeah, I think you might.
I'm using the iPhone app though. I don't have the actual unit, Stream Deck unit.
Oh, and you're not running on macOS, the Stream Deck?
I am. I'm just running the app. I'm not running like the hardware. Stream Deck hardware.
Yeah, I haven't used it much, so I don't know. But from what I've seen, it seems like it has a lot of options. If you go in the macOS version, you could add like some more stuff.
Right. Because so if I send the audio, obviously from my first computer to the second computer, I could just do, you know, audio in on the interface. So it's, and then use OBS on that computer. But it's really just the video I got the video through to Camlink, but then I wasn't able to resize it in the Instagram size over on the second computer, if that makes sense.
In OBS, you couldn't resize it in OBS.
Well, because of how, like, Camlink was just bringing over the entire copy of, like, including the OBS, like, outline, you know? And so in order for it, like, to switch the camera view, right? So I had to actually share the OBS video screen, including, like, the menu bar and all that stuff. So I had to kind of stretch out the OBS video in order for it to fit there. Does that make sense? You know, because it's just like, yeah. So
yeah, I think there's one other way that would be cool is if you can use your camera, the whole stream as a NDI input. So it's going to be a network device input. It's going to be available on your local network. So when you use OBS on the other machine and it's connected on the same physical network, you can just get it and use it on OBS, on Ecamm or whatever. So you get a very fast feed passing the data through, and the one that's doing the encoding is the second computer and also taking the audio.
Right. Okay, yeah. So if I have a router and I just do Cat5 from the router to the second computer, and then that would just suffice, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what you need is to use the NDI input plugin from NewTek. Let me drop a link here. They have these NDI tools. One is for capturing screen, the other is for having multiple NDI inputs, multiple camera inputs. NewTek.
Cool.
And I think that's what most apps are using under the hood, like Skype and Ecamm. They're using an OBS has an NDI plugin, so it's like the standard way of passing through this type of streams.
But isn't that basically just the same thing as like my Camlink, only cleaner and less expensive?
Yeah, but I think you can totally skip Camlink in this case because you're just running gigabit speed, so it's fine for handling your data. And Camlink is actually going to decode and encode again, so I think it's a necessary step for that scenario.
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Tight. Okay. Matt is saying use PIP3. Does anyone use that? No. I will check that out, Matt. Thank you so much. Yeah, because I know that like PIP is what a lot of people are using for like the push stuff that they're doing. Yeah. Cool. Okay, let me look and see if there's any other questions. Cool. It doesn't seem like there are. So yeah, anyone else on the CT side want to share like developments? James Patrick had said that he was gonna jump on, but he couldn't make it. But he had like a whole cool thing that he figured out with audio movers that I was hoping to hear from him. But yeah, just like, does anyone want to share something that they've been, you know, working on this week and developing, or
experience this morning. Has anybody ever used Switcher Studio?
No.
Basically, I was working with a product manager in Mexico. I'm doing a demo for him, and he sent me a link. You get to switcherstudio.com, and like it's, you know, obviously like a personalized link, and it lets you pick your webcam, your microphone, and your output right off the bat. So I was sending him my webcam signal, and what he's able to do is get webcam signals from different people and do picture-in-picture, side-by-sides, and basically like live edit multiple presenters at the same time. It was really smooth, and it didn't take up any bandwidth. It was like just a really interesting experience. I don't know if anybody's experienced anything like that, and I just am late to the game, but it was all online.
I've definitely heard of it, but I haven't used it.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, they had a paid version on their end. There's apparently a free one. My experience with it is only on the Surface. We spent about an hour, and I was sending my Blackmagic, the Atom Mini, as a webcam to him, so I was able to switch it back and forth. And yes, I finally got one. And then on my second computer, I had this little, you probably can't see it, but there's another webcam on top of my push. So he was getting 2 computers from me, and he was able to do like really cool picture-in-picture and overlays. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. It's my first time trying this, but this is what it looked like. Yeah, I still don't know how to share still on the Atom Mini. I know there's a way, but anyway, he was able to do overlays and title graphics on the fly and just like really seamlessly switch, and he was streaming it to Facebook Live. That's something that I'm definitely going to dive into, and I encourage all you guys to check it out. Switcherstudio.com. I'll put it in the chat.
I think my battery's going to drain from how many tabs I have open.
Oh
All
God,
these links.
You don't even want to see mine.
Speaking of that, I can get my battery.
All right. Let me go to the sheet and see if anyone filled in anything. Let's see. Oh yeah, Brian, you have your Loop from Home Ableton Live pack. Also, it was on Brian's podcast. Yes, everyone go check out.
That too.
Yeah, Brian, my interview on Brian's podcast the other week. But yeah, tell us about your pack.
Okay, well, when I saw today's Loop at Home challenge, I thought it was a great chance to make some instruments and see what those samples can do. And they're really cool samples. There's a lot of life to each one. So I went on a live stream with Zoom. You can tell it's Zoom because they have the nice watermark they give you, even though you pay. And just made some instruments. I made 6 different instruments. One was a drum rack. I used sampler a couple times. I used Wavetable to throw in the samples there. That was a cool one. Put the link here. Maybe I'll put it in YouTube too.
Yeah,
so they're for people to download if they're going to do the challenge today.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, people are going to do it today, but they're still good after today. Fun sounds. I really had a good time playing around with kind of isolating some of the sounds that like have very rich harmonically. So I was kind of trying to isolate stuff with bandpass filters and zero in on parts of the sounds.
You maybe walk us through of how you're making the pack. How do you design the sounds? Do you use organic sounds or like field recordings, or you do synths, or how?
This is the stuff from Ableton, but the Polish radio experimental studio that they released today. So I just used those samples, and I figured, what the heck, I'll go on a live stream, give myself a little pressure. I think that helps sometimes. It keeps you focused. So did that and made some sounds in like an hour or so, maybe an hour and a half. Yeah, so they're there. They're for everybody.
Nice. Yeah, I just dropped the links.
Thanks.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for doing that.
And then our podcast, we should
I
put that up. That was a good talk.
Yeah, that was a really good talk. Yeah. Yeah, it's been awesome to see. I was like, dang, you've done a lot of podcasts now. I think when I was first on the podcast, you kind of had just started it. So you're like, I'm
lately
like,
too.
Yeah, you're like,
people are around.
Consistent. Yeah.
I'm trying to do one a week. And now I'm trying to get ahead in case I slack in a month or two. So I'll still have like one every week for the year.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for all that you do. Yeah, actually, so I did a live stream with Stencil the other night on their YouTube, and they took some of the packs that we had made from a few years ago that we had released on your website and optimized them for the morph.
Oh, nice.
And did like some, fake MPE stuff for live. It's awesome though. It's really cool. So I'm going to drop that link since live still doesn't do that officially.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I've heard about that after it already happened.
Yeah, so anyone can grab the pack, and yeah, they optimized it for the morph. So like if you move up, down, X on the keyboard, you can select different string sample sounds from the pack that I created, and so yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, so that is going on, and then I figure I should just tell everyone about my Design Your Dream online live show, 3-day free masterclass going on Monday through Wednesday of this week. So if anyone wants to RSVP, I'm going to drop the link here. And I have 2 amazing guest artists that are joining me, Dressage and Sudan Archives. And we're going to be talking about their live sets and how we helped them level them up. Both of them artists that I've worked with. So definitely, it's at 2 p.m. Pacific, so it's a little late for you guys in Europe, but definitely RSVP if anyone out there is interested. And what else? Josh, you put something in the document, right? Oh, you said nothing. Not this week. You had nothing.
I have a pluggable thing, but we don't do that till later.
No, we're doing it now. We're just whatever. You can plug.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Not slightly music related, but I'm working on doing some tutorials. It's funny because the Gizmo phone thing they did yesterday was really fun. I made a track, and I made this thing. It's rubber bands with binder clips in them. And then my wife told me to cut a hole in it to get more sound. So I found that to be fun, and I made a track. And but yeah, they came out with that idea. But this week I was actually working on ideas of ways to create studio equipment with the junk that you have in your place. So hopefully next week I'll have one of those actually finished. I bought a bunch of poster board yesterday and gonna try to see what happens and document that. And then at 6, me and my wife are doing our, hey, we just saw a movie. We're gonna watch Groundhog Day for this timely event. And I'll put a link to that for the YouTube. Yeah, so.
Hey, Josh, let me know if you want to trademark Studio Junk. I can help you with that.
I think a lot of people would be afraid to put that into a search engine.
I don't know. I don't know.
Probably already got.
That's funny. Okay.
Any other, you guys have made sample packs as well? Like I'm looking for some tips on how many instruments, how to organize them. I don't know, just some general tips on how to make it and publish as well.
Well, you're asking if we have made some, or?
Yeah, I know you have made some, right? Josh as well? And Brian, like how many instruments, how much, like one shot?
Yeah, Brian, ask Brian first.
Yeah, just talk to Brian.
Tell me, brother. Tell me, Brian.
I kind of missed the question. I got a glitch.
Yeah, I mean, where to start over? You know, how many instruments, like how many one shots, more one shots, not too many loops, or you just beat on a track and then you start cutting stuff. What's your approach to creating a sample pack?
It really depends. Today, when I was doing the one with the loop at home samples, I hadn't really listened to the samples yet, so I just kind of went until I found one I liked. I was like, oh, that's cool, and just started doing something with it. What was nice about doing the live stream, and also the fact that I knew that I needed to get it done kind of quick because people are probably using them today. It forced me to just be like, oh, that one's cool. Let's use it. Let's see what I can do. Oh, that one's cool. Instead of let's listen to every single one and then try to decide which one to pick. You know, just going for whatever caught my attention right away. Yeah, it's weird because sometimes you can make an instrument with one sample and then you start putting macro controls on it and you start turning the macro controls and it's a totally different instrument. I'll sometimes call it a pad and then I play with the attack and the sustain and stuff and all of a sudden now it's a pluck and it's you can just keep going. You can kind of like make something with one sound and then just take it even further and further. I kind of just follow my excitement.
Can I offer a couple of thoughts on that for the original question from Pedro? So it's interesting because like Brian's stuff, I can almost tell when he puts out something like that's what he was vibing on that week, right? Like oh, there's a new pack on some synth, and I was like, oh, he's probably playing and sampling some Roland that week, and that's his inspiration, right? So that's obviously what inspires you to make sound because it's endless. You can sample anything, and then like he said, you can turn. You know, one of the things I teach my students all the time is like, okay, let's take this drum snare and turn it into a pad, or let's take this pad and turn it into a drum. Like you can do anything with anything, right? So it's really difficult to figure that out. But I think one approach is obviously whatever you're vibing with, you're going to create a really interesting sound pack because you're inspired. On the flip side, have you guys checked out Thomas Glenning? Is that his last name? Glending's stuff, the elephant.
Glendinning. Yeah.
Glendinning. Thank you. Yes. That stuff's amazing. And, but it's also almost like a toolbox. The way he designed it was that you could take these essential, like essential bread and butter components and then take it to the next level for what you want to do. So, I look at that as kind of a slightly different approach where you're starting with a toolbox of things that you can then take your inspiration, or you can, on the flip side, some of the things that Brian puts out where it's like, okay, what is the inspiration there and how does that inspire me to go in that particular rabbit hole? Am I making sense?
Yeah. Yeah,
I think also
sometimes.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, kind of to build on that. I think sometimes when you're vibing on something, once I sort of like catch a theme, then it gives me direction. It might be like, oh, I'm gonna make these really mellow sounds, or I'm gonna make sounds that are more percussive synths, whatever it might be. Catching the vibe, catching like the theme of it, is really important, I think, if you're going to start building something big. Like today with Loop at Home, it wasn't really about any particular vibe. It was just, let's see how many cool sounds we can play with in an hour or so. But on the bigger projects, I might fool around on some ideas, but then something usually clicks. And it might even just be that I go back and review some of the sounds I've already made, and I realize I'm kind of like doing a similar story. So once I can find that, then it really comes together.
Yeah, I think it's about the relationships, which sounds weird, but just when you're doing everything, the relationships between the components of whatever synth or sounds you're making, and kind of just finding where those meet. So if you're, like you're saying with the macro, you're like, well, what could I macro? And you think about, okay, like I did a thing called a wavetable pack called Keck, which is some astronomer. So it's all sci-fi stuff. And so all the macros, I thought of how can I make a sick bay sound? But then how would you modify that? It's like, okay, obviously we'll use rectangle wave to have it go up and down. But then you say, okay, well, you want people to be able to modify that. So the simplest thing would be, what's the relationship between the macro and the LFO? And it's like, okay, rate, or the filter, so you just find the different relationships between the pieces, and then things start to kind of come together. And yeah, just having, I think that, and just having fun and passion with it, and just going down the rabbit hole of, a lot of times even just going to a dead end and be like, well, that was dumb. And then just back up and kind of go back to where it was kind of cool. And I make duplicates. Dennis Fisher, I think his name is that his name also? There's just two Dennis Fisher. The guy at Sweetwater at Synthplex, he was talking about building patches, and he said pretty much like bank your patches as you're making changes so that you can easily go back. It's easier in live. He was talking about using like the Moog 1 or something, but really just starting with small incremental relationships between things and then connecting them, through each increment. So
that's a good idea, because sometimes I'm working on something and it's one thing, and then 5 minutes later it's a totally other thing. But what you said about your Keck Observatory wavetable is a good example, because you have this like sci-fi space thing. When I was going through the samples, I found one called Mermaid, and just seeing that it was called Mermaid kind of like informed decisions. I had a phaser on, and I was trying to decide between space and Earth. That's a little switch there. I was like, well, mermaids are on Earth. So I went with Earth, and then I kind of was thinking like underwatery as the vibe of that sound. And sometimes getting those names, and sometimes even naming the macros things besides like filter cutoff. Mm-hmm. Giving it more abstract terms can really make you think with your imagination more than your critical brain, your mathematical mind.
Yeah, I love working with puns. It makes me feel good, and it makes, kind of like you were saying, it kind of pulls it out of this technical lab coat situation. And it's just, you just come up with a silly pun, like I used to live in Texas, and there was a guy named Tom DeLay. And so I had a pack I was working on for a while that I still haven't released, named after that guy, just because it's all delay packs and stuff like that. So, just finding different things in the names of the packs, or the, like you said, the macros that just kind of make people go, well, what in the world is that? Instead of, oh, this is a filter cutoff with it's also attached to like the randomness of the pitch of the grain delay. And it just sounds a little bit more inquisitive and silly.
Hey, English teacher, is this working for you? This conversation? He's not even listening.
He's probably delayed.
Right? He's probably so deep in thought with what you're saying right now. Like, no, the puns. Oh, the puns.
Is he? Brian, can you hear us?
Me?
I had a freeze again, and then my dog started barking. I missed
Hey guys,
about 10 seconds
I'm
there.
actually doing a new experience. It's like a sample flip. I'm asking everyone to record an interesting sound around them just simply record it with the phone, smartphone, with a video even better. So if any of you guys can send me one, I love it. You can send me from Instagram. Where is it? And yeah, just about
I
anything.
forgot last week.
And I'm getting so many interesting things. Like I have like this young kid playing toy drums, and I have like a cooking machine, boiling some water.
Yeah, Brian is recording his hydroponics right now. That's fantastic.
Is that legal
I mean,
in New York?
Love it.
he's 5 days late on that one, but
It's cucumbers, man.
That's what the kids are
Get
calling
too
it now.
excited.
Cucumbers.
yeah, street cut cucumber.
Looking that good cucumber.
Awesome, thanks. And I'm getting so many different things, like really, really different odd things. And I'm starting to put them together. I got around like almost 50 samples now without messing up. So I'm getting some more and I'm gonna start flipping and cutting, and yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
50 samples.
Huh?
50 samples already.
50, yeah, a little less, 40, something like that.
Okay, yeah, it's a lot. What are your plans? Like a track or a sample pack?
No, it's not a commercial sample pack. I mean, I've been asking for it kind of personally, and I'm getting a lot of intimate, personal recordings. Like, people are at home, they're doing their own time, so that I'm not gonna do anything commercial with it. It's just for the fun of it, and also make people feel part of that creation, you know, because they're sending me a sample and I'm making it in something else. And for many of them, they're also going to be like their whatever they recorded, if it was their face or something else, or a cooking machine, whatever, or their dog. So it's more like something to share with the community, with my friends, not really to make money on.
Where do you want it? I'm ready.
Where do you want to send me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you drop it in the chat, the link?
Yeah, that work.
Can I do that? Okay.
I meant his link. Not oh, you already got the sample ready, Brian.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
You already made a pack about your pack.
Right, exactly. That's what he wasn't responding. He's making a pack over there.
It might be interesting because it has a very low hum and there's also dripping water. So it might make a kind of cool texture.
Have you guys ever watched the YouTube channel Chords of Orion? I suggest people check it out. He uses his guitar to make ambient sounds and stuff like that, but he comes up with a lot of great textures and stuff like that. And when you were saying that, Brian, it made me think like this would be a great drone for Chords of Orion.
Hey, did you actually send the link here, Brian?
I can send it. I just need to know where to send it. Did I miss that somewhere?
Yeah, where's the world sending these samples, Pedro?
I'm gonna get it from Instagram, pretty much. Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp. So if you wanna send from Instagram.
Instagram.
On a different topic, has anyone used Endless yet? Oh wait, did you just say something, Brian? Did I cut you off?
I just don't know how to send a file to Instagram.
I know, I was wondering that too. How does one do that?
Okay, let's make it easy. Just email.
Dropbox link, I guess.
I'm gonna put it on I guess Dropbox, and maybe I can share that. Or I can, okay. I got it now. I got your email.
So So yeah, has anyone used Endless yet? Because I saw on Facebook something popped up that Imogen Heap is now on a Zoom live streaming. So anyone who's watching ours, do not leave us and go watch Imogen Heap right now. No, but she's talking about Endless and Tim's new app that he's been working on for a few years, and I'm curious if anyone's been using that. I popped over to Twitch to watch her, Imogen and Tim, the other day, but she was having some connectivity struggles with her bandwidth. But yeah, has anyone been using Endless for like iOS collaboration stuff? Because I don't actually fully know what it is yet.
Yeah, that like I told you a couple weeks ago, I jumped on for a second and I was able to collaborate, but I still don't. It's kind of like Discord. I'm still trying to figure out what that is, like at least for me, like what it means.
Right, I know. Yeah, I jumped on one of my homies, Da Vinci. Shout out Da Vinci. I'm on his Discord, and now I've gotten a couple of messages, and I'm like, man, do I really want to like have another thing? Like also Twitch. I think Twitch and Discord are like the anti like Facebook, like for the younger generation. So I don't know. Are you guys anyone over there on those things?
I started a Discord
Tell us.
for my music production club for the very reason that the Facebook group that I had was terrible, because I get so much spam on it. Just every day, just spam. I'm just checking spam. It's like a part-time job. But the Discord is really nice. It's just like a chat room really, but you have like topics. They call them channels. And you can have like share samples here, or share your music, or ask a question, helpful resources.
So it's like Slack?
Yeah, it's a lot like Slack. It's like the casual Friday Slack for video game players.
Yeah, Slack for gamers.
Yeah.
So Endless is is that a way to collaborate online? Is that what that is? Like you can collaborate using a variety of machines or what?
It's supposed to be real time jamming, right?
So Josh on the Facebook, he says it's great. It's a bit complex as far as an interface to start with, but real-time collaboration is such a great idea. So I guess it says, yeah, it works, but it can be a little clunky, but it's only a month old.
Yeah.
And it's working better than a lot of other things. So,
I guess I'm just curious that versus Jamulus. I think Endless is really only just iOS though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It says there's real-time quantization.
Whoa.
Did you hear that? Real-time quantization.
There's some website called BandLab. I don't know if you guys know about it. BandLab. And I think it's the same guys as Discord. And it's like a DAW which you can share with people. And it's on the browser and it's pretty good. I made a vibe there. If you
Roy, what's the URL? What's it called? Could you put it on the chat?
BandLab.
Oh, BandLab. Okay.
Yeah. Bandpoint Lab. And it's quite good. They have like many instruments there, and you can just record stuff and you can quantize. It's like a real DAW.
Oh yeah,
Not
they
like
own mono bags.
Not like GarageBand. You can do a lot more. Than just a normal one. And then you can share with people, and you can have like friends making music with you on the same project.
No, I got like
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Roy.
I don't just wanted to say that you can upload it again
on the podcast.
Sorry? What did you say?
I had John Ivers, is a composer, sound designer for BandLabs. He was on the podcast. If you guys want to, if anyone's interested. Oh, sorry, I sent that just to Pedro.
Yeah, I just referred it.
Thanks. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a great tool for like education, especially like kids learning music for the first time. They can drag loops in, and it puts it in your key. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. I think they've updated a lot since I spoke to him, where it can do a lot more now. But it was pretty cool. Like, you know, like I teach high school, like I could have kids do like music for their projects on it, and they don't really need to know any of the technical stuff that music can be.
Well, it looks like a DW, right? So it's like you write MIDI and you can record audio inside, and you also have loops, like many. It's quite good. It sounds good. Sounds decent. And in the end of the thing, I'm not sure if you can export it or you can upload it. It's like SoundCloud type of thing. Not sure. I need to check it out. I think you can export the MIDIs though, or the stamps. I'm not sure. It's quite nice. I didn't even know about it. I discovered it by accident, which is quite common these days, huh? You just discovered stuff by accident. Which are great.
Yeah, it's a cool suggestion. I forgot about that. My friend sent me a video. His daughter was she's 4 or so. She was wanting to learn she's like, I want to be a producer. What do I do? So I was trying to think of I've thought of iOS apps to send her where there's like animals and stuff and you place them and they make different pitches. But, you know, I was like, I don't know a middle ground. And so I think if she does that, the next thing would probably be like BandLab would probably be good for her. Free tool.
Well, there is something really cool for kids, and it's called Music Lab. It's on Chrome, and it's amazing. You have like many games of sound and audio for kids. You have like I don't know, like a drum sequencers with 2 monsters, and you can write the MIDIs, and they're like playing along the MIDIs that you just wrote, and they do funny faces. You also have a spectrogram of sound. You can also record your voice and see it on the spectrogram. It's quite nice.
What is it called again?
Music Lab. I'm gonna write it in the chat.
That sounds fun for me.
This is super fun. Really, it's really nice. This is what I discovered by accident on Facebook. Music Lab. Totally for kids learning about audio and sound and creating music. Because I think, and we all know that the next generation of kids are going to be fucking great producers. They're all going to make music in the box, for sure. That's how I see the world in the next 20 years. 10, why 20? So there's
another one called Soundation Station.
Soundation.
Oh,
and it's supposed to be like Google Drive, like like collaborate like that on on Google Docs. We've been doing it, this whole chat, right? Where like multiple people can edit audio tracks and stuff. I got an email about this for the podcast, but I kind of dropped the ball on it. But it looks interesting anyway.
I heard some people talking about Soundation as well. I think it's time we put up like a poll of audio tools and can like keep a bit more organized about our experience on them, because there are so many and I've tested a lot and a lot are not useful. I mean, couldn't have a good experience with them. And it takes time, So I think if you can organize audio's experience each one is getting, we can move quicker into good tools. And I see all the developers, they're putting out new releases. Like everyone's coding, everyone that has a software is now coding and putting out new releases. So if you guys are trying Gemulus, there's a new release. Zoom has like 3 to 4 releases a day. Sorry? And yeah, I think there's a quest on that, like music collaboration online. What are the best tools and who's gonna get there first? and who's gonna get like a big amount of a big community using it, so it can actually keep growing, you know.
Hey everybody, I gotta run. It was really nice seeing everybody. Thank you, Laura, for having this.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Catch you guys next time. Bye
bye. Yeah, I agree. There's like so many tools. We should probably have a document just for those tools and give everyone's feedback on them. We did have a question on the Facebook. Hi, Durant. Hi, I spilled a sticky drink over my push 2 last week. It's got inside. It's in a bag of rice, but need to get it cleaned up somehow. Any tips?
Take it out of the bag of rice.
Take it out of the bag of rice.
I had to have a dog pee on his push 2.
No.
The dog peed on its push 2?
What's that, John?
You said the dog peed on its push 2. I was like, that's pretty baller.
It's a very high-end household. They've got like pushes for everybody. But he took it apart, let it dry, like unscrewed the chassis and let everything out. And then I found that like a vinegar solution, like a pre-made one, or you can make it at home with vinegar and water, works really well for cleaning it. Just let it evaporate. He said it worked well after. I'm sure it had an interesting smell.
I think definitely not turn it on until it dries. Like really let it dry as much as possible. And then if you're willing to, open up and clean with isopropyl alcohol, like 99% alcohol. I think that's the best because it evaporates really quickly and it doesn't leave any residues that might later on start to get rusty. So if you can get a hand on 99% isopropyl alcohol, that's the best way.
Nice. Okay. Let's see. Alex is wondering what our startup templates look like.
Ooh, can I go first?
Yeah. Anyone, jump in.
Unmuted. Dad, here. Am I muted? I'm unmuted. Oh, there we go. Can you hear me?
Can hear you.
Okay. I'm confused about what
it
said. All right. Mine's really simple. It's just drums, empty drum MIDI, empty keys MIDI, guitar, audio track, bass audio track, and ADSR sample manager plugin. And that's just 5 tracks that I have every time I open up live as default.
So mine is just empty. It's like an empty audio and MIDI channel. I like to start on 0 and just think about whatever I'm going to start with. I just have the SonarWalks and the listen to on my master channel with the utility before the listen to, because it tends to get really hot and loud. I don't know why. And that's it. These days I start a lot from a sample. I just hear a sample of something and I start from that. I'm going to try to start on the synth.
I have a question about listen to actually. So the receiver, I haven't used the receiver. I've just used it to stream out audio to my live streams. Are you guys using the receiver, and how does that work? It's just another plugin on a track, and then you receive the audio from the other person?
Yeah, you need to give you need to get the password of the sender in order to put it in your receiver. And your receiver is just a plugin which you put on your audio channel, and you're getting the sound from him direct in your session. So you can sample him, you can record it, you can do stuff with it, like effects, you can actually record the person. And I have a friend of mine sending me audio from Logic inside of Ableton, which was like, the powers unite. It was really nice. And it's a really cool solution for people making mixing or making music for commercial and needing to send the customers like samples of their work without sending files and Dropbox and stuff like that. So you can just let them have it and listen to it and tell you, hey, the kick, the snare, maybe change this, change that, and it saves a lot of time. It's really nice.
Nice. Okay. But I guess two to three people could collab at the same time using it, right?
You can send three as a sender. You can send 3 times. As a receiver, you can receive many times. I don't know how many, but I think like 100 or something, like really a lot.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's massive.
And are you using it quite a bit for things?
Yes,
that you're doing?
every time I cannot. First of all, I cannot trust Zoom's audio quality.
Yeah.
It sucks, and it's also take the part of explaining the student how he can send me the sound, and I want to sound from his DAW and also to hear him. So it makes life easier and faster. So, and then with Zoom, I could just control the computer, just put a plug in there, and I can listen to him in real time without any complications, and like, trust his ability to move audio and stuff like that.
So you're not using it to jam, you're using Jamulus to jam.
No, because Jamulus is not steady. It's not it's not stable. It really it depends on internet, bandwidth, and you have people from many countries and servers. It's a bit clunky for lessons. Lessons need to be as a rock, in my opinion. This is why I bought a loopback and stuff like that, so I can just do things quickly and not like, hey, wait, let me do this, do that. Because time is of an essence when you're teaching, you know that. So.
Totally. Josh was asking me when am I gonna get some Mimu gloves? Well, I think they're like $5,000 or something. First of all. Second of all, I know that maybe they've come, a long way since the last time I saw them at Loop, which was a couple of years ago, but there was definitely some like Wi-Fi connectivity stuff that they were working through. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't know how many people have them, and I think you have to like be a specialist in them to actually know how to operate them. I'm not sure if they're commercially available yet, but maybe I could be wrong. Josh is saying they're 2,500 euro or pounds for a pair. Yeah, so they're quite expensive. That's probably why I don't have them, but I do have like the MIDI glove from way back when, so I could bust that out. It's definitely not like as sexy looking as the Mimu gloves, but it's cool. Does anyone here have any new controllers they want to talk about, or like does anyone just stop buying stuff in lockdown? We were all buying like live streaming stuff. Yeah.
I got an ES8. I know I was talking about that the last time I was on one of these streams, but that has since got here, and I've been using it as an extension over ADAT from my main interface, and that has been so much fun as far as just integrating into some of the modular gear that I have around. So that's my current nerd obsession.
Is this a foot controller?
No, it's the Expert Sleepers module that it's an audio interface. It has a USB port on it. You can use it as a optical extension, and it's a DC coupled audio interface. So I've been playing around with the CV tools a little bit, sending things in and out of live, and just kind of exploring what those possibilities are.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I searched for ES8 and I found the Boss foot stomper effects switching system. So that's not it.
It's always fun to search product names and see what you get, what industry you end up in.
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, Katie, do you want to share us your setup? I'm curious, like what you've...
Do show us, do.
Yeah. Oh, I guess
I would love to. I've been having some video problems today. I'm trying to run video through my studio computer rather than my laptop. But I will be doing a demo very soon. I'm actually going to be presenting tomorrow. I'm doing a stream on Twitch just talking about kind of bringing music to life, and I'll have 2 cameras going and a screen share. And then I'm doing the Denver Ableton user group virtually at the beginning of May, and I'm going to be talking about hardware integration from my studio. So there will be a proper tour at that point.
Nice. Definitely send us the link.
Yeah, could you share your Twitch for tomorrow?
Yeah, share us your Twitch.
Yeah, I'll paste it in the chat here. I'm doing it through the Black Box Studio, so it's not my personal Twitch, but I will drop the link.
Great. I will put it in the other streams. Josh is asking for everyone, what's our favorite cheapo synths to sample? I don't know about cheapo, but like the OP1 I'm always going to. Not that cheap. Brian probably knows all the cheapo synths out there to sample.
Everything is great to sample.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes the cheapest stuff have the coolest artifacts when you start stretching out the time and pitching the samples around. I'm never not surprised at what I get. I love it. I'm not. I get excited about the cheap stuff, like anything that makes a tone, because as you start playing with it, you just kind of never know what you're gonna unlock in that sound. Anything that makes a tone. My dishwasher makes a tone that I've been meaning to sample, but I can never sit there and be ready for it when it's gonna end.
That's the worst feeling. I have that happen all the time where I'm like, this sounds amazing. I go to get my recorder and then the sound stops.
Yeah, it's just like a little beep that happens, maybe a little melody, but it happens when it's done washing the dishes, and that could be, it's hard to, time one of these days.
Hey,
Yeah,
Laura.
we have more time, just be like sitting there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Record it for 45 minutes.
Just get to take the end. Wait, who said hey, Laura?
Laura, I have a question about, I think you're using MIDI Merlin. Is that it, to convert real-time audio to MIDI?
Yeah. I actually was about to talk about that.
Yeah?
I had an idea, but yeah, what's your question?
Well, I think it's really interesting, so I tried downloading the demo, but I can't really get it to work, so I don't know, maybe you could...
Yeah, it takes a lot to configure. It's pretty, there's a lot, it's pretty deep. But yeah, I can help you. I was thinking is if I were to send my audio in real time to someone else, then they would be able to capture that through MIDI Merlin and then use that to like trigger, I don't know, video or something, because I've been trying to figure out how to like collaborate with visual artists remotely right now. So I was thinking that could be an option, because like when I do my full Unreal setup, that's what I'm doing. I'm just converting audio to MIDI in real time to control the video. So of course there'd be latency, but it might be kind of cool to see if I could do that with a visual artist. Trying to think of, I guess, yeah, if we're using Listen To and they are receiving my audio, then they can just run that through MIDI Merlin and then use the output of that to control the video. Might be able to work.
Yeah, it will work. Well, or you could send MIDI straight through the network. You establish a connection and just send straight MIDI, and then you have like a virtual MIDI on the other end, and just use that as input in a Resolume or any other VJ software.
How do you do that?
You have to open up a port on your router so you can have the connection, and then I think it's just using the utility in macOS, and you can make the connection.
Oh, just like a regular local network when I do that.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be local in this case.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I've done that between my own computers, but
Exactly. So it'll be pretty much the same, but you'll be sending it remotely. So they receive MIDI data, and yeah, that's MIDI trigger launches and stuff.
What app would we use though for that?
I think we can use just macOS utility audio
Yeah,
MIDI.
it's essentially server stuff. It's like if you were a server person.
And just have an IP address, and that's once you establish a connection, just like you did with two computers on the same local network, you can do it remotely, and bam, you're gonna send MIDI.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool. All right, maybe I'll try that.
With Josh's question, a friend of mine gave me this when he went on a walkabout about 6 years ago, and I just found a 50-minute video on how to work it a couple of weeks ago. So I'm gonna start messing with this. It also has was it the QY10? It also has a song mode, and it sends out program changes. So I was also thinking that I can control my Digitac and Digitone using song mode from this, since those two units don't have it. But it produces a bunch of cheesy, cheap sounds. But like Brian said, there's a lot of options, and I would love to, if anybody wants to help me gather cheap devices and get all of their drum loops out of them, because I love the timing of the sound design. Like when this came out, the type of sound design that drum beats people were making and ones through the 90s, 2000s, we can't get in that headspace anymore of making what we consider cheesy beats. It's kind of harder now. So if anybody has any devices they don't want, please hit me up and I will take them off your hands.
Nice.
If anybody has any gear they don't want, they can send it to me too.
But I meant cheap gear that they think is dumb, not awesome gear.
Like any kind of.
That's good. I've been trying to get rid of everything I own, so no one wants it.
I'll take any gear.
Right, you got it.
Nice. Josh was asking Pedro if we would need to bring our own Wi-Fi hub. I guess talking about going back to what we were talking about a minute ago. Would you bring your own Wi-Fi hub?
In which scenario?
I think the audio, or the MIDI, sending the MIDI in real time.
No, I think you just have to configure it and open a port. So I can try to find a tutorial here to share.
Yes, that'd be great.
Like a step-by-step, but yeah, you just have to get in your router settings and choose a specific port to open. And yeah, I'm just gonna find a link and share it. It's gonna be better. It's a few steps.
That'd be great.
Go sync that with audio. Would there be a second person or I guess second computer streaming the receiving, I guess the video being generated after you send it, and then pairing it with audio just to get that like precise real-time change?
Say that one more time.
Wouldn't that be the next challenge? Like once the video artist gets your MIDI, right? Then somehow the video that person's generating and your audio have to be paired for the broadcast.
Yeah, I was just saying it probably is going to be too latent, but
But I wonder if there's a solution for that. If they're just being streamed out of the video artist, if the video artist also receives your audio and your MIDI, wouldn't then that be in real time in their studio and they could broadcast that? They could stream that?
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, maybe. Instead of me, they could do it. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I would have to get into it and see what the latency would be like. I mean, I guess I could just be like listening to my feed and then there would be a delay. What is a cheap, well, not cheap, but a webcam that you guys use that is fairly inexpensive that's still good? Because I already have 2 Logitech Brios, which are a little bit more on the expensive side, and I was thinking I wanted to get one more so that when I go play my synths, you can actually see what I'm doing. So, any suggestions for a webcam that's
920, the Logitech. Try that.
920?
I was gonna say the same. They're a little bit hard to find right now, but I've got 2 of them and they work great, other than today for me, apparently.
Is this the C920?
Yeah.
That's what I'm using right now.
Okay.
I've tried a few of the different Logitechs. There's a couple that are like a little bit more expensive. I think it's like a 930 or something. And I went back to the 920 2 or 3 different times. Sent things back. It's just, I think it's the best one I could find anyway.
Nice.
Brian, do you have the ability to control the focus and everything still?
There's an app. It is called Camera Settings. It's from the Logitech site. It's a newer app.
Yeah. I have that and it never saves the settings.
I think it remembers it if your camera's plugged in still. Once you unplug everything, it kind of like forgets everything you ever told it.
It forgets it when it's still plugged in for me.
Yeah.
You
know what? That's a thing I don't love about that camera is it does seem kind of hard to get your customization and the autofocus is always.
I know. It just stays on. You keep turning it off, and then it keeps turning back on, and then I keep going widescreen, and then it, But I've got all the rest of my stuff is Logitech, so I might as well just stick with Logitech, I guess.
I'll have to check it out. I have to find it because, the one that I have, it just, everything is disabled. You can't change anything on it.
That's cool.
I'll see if I can find it. It's a little better than what it used to be, but still.
So funny, the only ones on Amazon are used now. You can't buy a new one.
I think the 20 is an old model, and then I think the 30 is the current one, I believe.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, I think you might be right about that. And I liked the 20 better.
Huh. The 30 is blurry. Like $100 more. Really? Okay.
Yeah, it was one of those weird cases where the cheaper one was better. When does that happen?
Yeah. Well, there's the 930E, which is like a little over $200. Anyway, okay. Thank you guys. Katie shared a picture with us. Let's check it out. I'm going to, can we post this in the Facebook chat as well?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool. Dang.
This is my my picture in substitute for my live video right now.
Nice. Wow. Look at the setup. Very dope. I got a lot of this stuff too. Very cool. Yeah, we need to like share our pictures of our setups more often.
Do you use the K oscillator a lot still?
I do. So I have a patch bay in the center of my desk that's wired up. Oh, that's awesome. Thanks, Pedro. I have a patch bay that's kind of wired up into everything, and I've got the Eventide time factor delay pedal in front of me, and then I've got the chaos pad in front of me too. And I use those a lot just on, I send out from Ableton and into the patch bay, and then can route on the fly through whatever effects.
I've got my patch bay sitting under my table right now because I've spent the last 6 months trying to figure out how to set everything up in a nice way. So I just decoupled everything, and now I think I just found like a $50 DIY for you rack.
Nice. Yeah, that can be really handy.
Sweet. All right. Well, I think we're running out of time, so or at least I am. Thanks everyone for coming as per usual. I would like to try to have more of an agenda for the next one. So if you guys want to fill out that form and let us know, or let me know what is a topic that you can present, because I think it'd be great to like every week have someone, kind of like we did last week when Josh showed us his iRig.
You know, it's funny. That day, a friend asked me about borrowing it. I said, it's not working very well. He picked it up Sunday, used it for a 420 live stream. He's like, it worked great.
Really? I ordered the power supply, so that's on the way. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, it'd be great if you guys could fill out the form ahead of time so we could kind of share targeted things. But otherwise, you know, we'll always find 2 hours of things to talk about. No problem. Thanks to everyone on Facebook and YouTube that rocked with us today. Definitely send us questions ahead of time if you want us to answer something specifically. You can just send them to me. And yeah, does anyone want to plug any last things? Oh yeah, just one more time, if anyone wants to come to my Design Your Dream live show event, it's 3 days, totally free. I will put that in the chats. It's Monday through Wednesday. And anyone else want to say anything real quick?
6 p.m. Pacific. Hey, we just saw a movie, Groundhog Day. We're talking about it. Have fun with us.
Yep. Anyone else?
Follow Loop at Home. A lot of cool stuff going on.
Yeah, Loop at Home. Andrew Huang's going to be doing stuff tomorrow. Could definitely go back and watch Rachel Collier's performance talk through from this morning. I watched most of it until we had to start doing this, so that was awesome. Anything else?
Stay at home.
Stay at home. Send samples to Pedro on Instagram
Send
somehow.
samples, please.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, always a pleasure, everyone. I'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Take care.
Good to see y'all.
Bye.